business. I want to say a special good night to everyone out there, and welcome to Behind the Scenes. And tonight's edition, we got a special guest. Her name is Rochelle Hale. Now, before we get into it, just want to say this is a very special night, and I'll introduce Rochelle in a minute or two, actually in a few seconds, and let you guys see what she's all about and what she brings to the table. I know she brings a lovely smile. We chatted for a minute or two just now, and I know that she's awesome in what she do for these animals. So before any further delay, let's introduce the one and only Rochelle Hale.
Hi, Derek. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How you doing?
Oh, I can't complain, that's for sure. It's nice and sunny here in Florida.
You know what? I'll switch places with you anytime right now because it's so warm where you are, and over here is pretty cool.
Yes, this is true.
Well, you know what? Just so that people know, there's a slight delay coming from Rochelle's end down in Florida. But you know, we've established that, and we're gonna work with that. So just hang in there with us. It's just a 2-second delay or so, and we'll be good to go. So Rochelle, welcome. I just want to say special welcome to you.
Thank you, Derek. I'm happy to be here. This is really nice to be able to talk to you.
And you know what? I want to say this to you. You're making history. And the reason why you're making history is because you're the first female that I'm interviewing.
I was going to ask if I was. I thought so because I watch a lot of your shows. So I feel honored. Thank you.
Well, you know what? It's not like I haven't been trying. And I'll tell you something. You know, I've reached out to several females, and like what my wife usually say, Derek, you got to know when to take a hint. So you're the one who accepted, and I'm very grateful for that.
Well, I am too. It'll be a pleasure to talk to you tonight.
Well, that's awesome. Hey, look, last year I met Rochelle for the first time, very briefly. We spoke maybe for a minute or two, and we had a conversation about the horses. And I quickly realized that Rochelle definitely is all about the horses. Is that true, Rochelle?
Yes, it is. And happily so. You know, I can't help it. They're amazing animals. And to be able to take them, you know, and treat
Now, I just want people to know, let people know, first of all, who Rochelle is. Give us a brief background of where you're from, how you got started in all this, and a little background on your history of the horses.
Let's see. I've been in horses my whole life. I've been riding horses since I was 4 years old. You know, of course, they were quarter horses. We did pole bending, you know, that kind of thing, you know, on the farm. And we do shows, little, you know, side shows. And then as I got older, I got away from horses, you know, as teenagers do. You know, they try and go off somewhere else and, you know, try different things. But I came back into it in my 20s and started riding again. And my whole family's just were involved with horses and the horse industry somehow, one way or another. So when it came to doing the therapy on the horses, I figured I really got to look into this because I was treating humans for the last 13 years with PEMF. And I saw the reaction that it was doing and helping for them and healing their aches and their pains, and it helped with so many other things. I thought, well, you know what? I really, really want to do this for the horses because, I mean, they're top athletes, and it's such an amazing thing to get them from being very sore and taking them to the next level getting better times in their races, or, better scores when they're out in the show world. It's just, it's phenomenal. It's really, truly rewarding. And I've been doing this for 6 years now, the therapy. And
Wow,
I do
six.
a bunch of different things. I don't just do one type of therapy. I do PEMF. I do needleless acupuncture as well with a neurostimulator. I also have a new blanket as well that I've gotten into using in the past year, which is phenomenal. I really enjoy doing what I do. It's rewarding.
Now for what you do, and you wake up in the morning and you think about what you're about to do. Now, do you put a smile on your face and you walk up with your hands in the air and say, "Yay," or do you somber out? How do you go about your business? What's Rochelle like in the morning,
Oh,
attending these animals?
okay. Well, here's an example. When I used to do hair, I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to deal with it because I was a hairdresser for 20 years. And I decided, working with the horses, I was getting up at 4 in the morning to go to work. I was jumping out of bed, make the bed, get out of the house, and off I'd go, working the backstretch at Woodbine. Yeah, it's a different world to working with horses every day. You don't feel like you're working 7 days a week.
Wow. You know what? I've heard the same thing from many other people. There's a sense of fulfillment, getting up early in the morning and doing what you got to do and get the job done. And then you're home in the afternoon, having some lunch and getting a nap. There's something rewarding about that. Is it the same for
There
you?
is. Well, I don't get to go home in the afternoon for a nap. Usually my therapies start just a little when trainings are starting to wind down in the morning. So I'm usually around, talking to people, going out to the training tracks, or, wherever I happen to be in the morning, so I can see the horses train, to see what horses I'm going to be working on for the day. Sometimes I go out with the trainers, or I'll videotape for the trainer so I can have a better view myself on the horse. Because
Now
sometimes,
before
I get there and I'm usually in the stall with the horse, and, so I don't get to see them going unless I make that extra effort to get out earlier in the morning.
I see. Now, before we start asking you a bunch of questions about your business and how you help these horses, I just want people to get a background of of you, so people get to know you. When people get to know you, they feel like they're in there with you, and the conversation is a lot more smoother. So I want to know from you, Rochelle, what was it like growing up on a farm? What was it like?
Oh, it was great. There was so much freedom. We had a 300-acre farm, 31 horses, so there was no lack of something to do on a farm. You have your breakfast, you go out, you come back for lunch, you go out, and then you come back for dinner. Other than that, you weren't in the house. You're always out running around, either with the horses or cows, pigs, whatever we had on the farm at the time. So it's a good way to grow up, that's for sure.
Well, that's one of the things I was going to ask you. If it was always horses, and if it wasn't horses, what else would it be?
Oh, I don't know. Is there anything else, Derek?
I don't know.
I mean, I treat humans. I treat humans. I treat dogs, but I love my horses.
Now,
I walk into the barn and they all turn their heads and they look at me and they can't wait for me to come. It's like, is she going to come see me today? That type of thing. It's the best welcoming in the world. I don't think there is anything else for me.
oh, wow. Now, I know you said earlier that you switched careers and to travel with your clients and to do what you're doing right now. Tell me a little bit about what it is that you did before and what enticed you to come full time with the horses.
Well, like I say, I used to be a hairdresser. I owned my own salon. I was a color technician. I worked for large companies, teaching hair to other hairdressers. So it was a great life. I could go on holidays. I used to go away teaching, and travel to Cuba or, in Ontario, and I do stage work. So it was definitely is very exciting. I love to learn new things, and I find that when you are interested in something and it has your attention, you're more likely to sorry, you're more likely to enjoy your work. And as a hairdresser, I always said, you know, if you don't like your job, why are you staying at it? So I had to question myself this, as to, well, I'm not really happy going into work every day. And I was finding it harder and harder to maintain my happiness. So when I decided to get out of doing hair, and you really got to sit and think, well, what could I do next? So I started working with the PEMF, and I was working in a salon for humans to lay on these mats, like the one I have here. So it again, taking people and helping them get out of pain. I felt that that was very rewarding for me. So going and working with the horses just seemed like the next natural move.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Now, you've mentioned to me that you travel around some of the cities in the U.S. and within Canada, and now you're actually taking up a passport and you're going all the way down to Barbados for the first time. Now, what sparked that move?
Yes. Well, I didn't really have a plan to do that. It was kind of sprung upon me. One of my clients, he's a trainer. His name's Ted Holder, and he's asked me, because I work with him quite a bit with the horses, and he asked if I was, too busy to take a little, couple of weeks off, and I went, well, depends on what we're doing. And when he said about Barbados for the Gold Cup, I thought, well, this is just an experience I can't wait to have. And, to go down there and be with all the other top trainers, and it's very exciting.
Oh, that's awesome. Outside of the horses, and you telling me earlier that this is the first time that you're going to Barbados. What's the first thing you're going to do once you land in Barbados?
Well, actually, I have 5 days, without the horse, because he's not coming down till, the next Friday. I'm leaving on Sunday to go. So I think I'm going to be seeing a lot of beaches.
And that's a good thing. That's where I usually hang out when I go there. So it's all good. Now,
great. You'll have to let me know which ones are the good ones. I'm sure they're all great.
Yes, that is true. I would not want any of the people surrounded by the beaches to be jealous if I mention one beach and not the other, because they're all beautiful. Now,
true. Yeah,
about the horses.
I feel really blessed to be going, so this will be fun.
Nice, nice, and I really do hope you enjoy yourself, because there's lots of things to do. You got great weather. You're gonna have a bunch of happy people outside of horse racing. There's so many other people, so you'll completely enjoy yourself. Just make sure you enjoy yourself. Take lots of pictures, videos if you want to, and just have a blast.
Oh, I'm sure you'll see lots on my Facebook, taking the horses down to the beach to swim the horses.
Yes, I hear there's a spectacular occurrence with the horses going to the beaches, going to the beach in the morning. So you definitely got to check that out as well, and see which beach they're at, and maybe get some good information and check that out. You'll meet lots of horse people down there.
I'm looking forward to it. There's a few trainers I'm looking forward to seeing down there. I know they usually go every year, and I've worked with them in the past, so it'll be a lot of work as well. But I think it's going to end up being more work for me, to be honest. because I am there for the horses. So, as much as I say, yeah, I'm going to be going to the beach, but really more fun is going to be with my horses.
And now let's go back to your business a little bit. And I know we spoke briefly, and you mentioned that you have a bunch of rodeo clients and different horse environment. Can you speak briefly about that and what it is that you do for these animals?
Absolutely. So when I do therapy, it's for the horse. It doesn't matter which discipline it is, whether it's racing or rodeo or roping or whether it's eventing. I have some clients in the eventing world too, and I'm really hooked into that in the racing mostly because I think those are the horses that probably need me the absolute most because when it's eventing, it's three different events. There's dressage, there's jumping. I love that type of thing, and to see how the horses move, it really gets me thinking on how I have to treat them. Race horses are different from eventing horses. Rope horses are sore in different places than horses. So because it's just different movement, with the roping horses, they usually put the brakes on. And so you have to make sure, like everything is like gets jammed. So you have to think, okay, thinking ahead, this is what I'm going to need to do for this horse. So it really does keep you thinking all the time. And so what I do is, like I say, it's I have different techniques that I use for each horse.
Wow. So for the type of therapy that you perform with these horses, I just want to ask you quickly, like how much of it is needed for the horses to start showing great results?
It's pretty immediate, actually. You can really see the difference in the horse from the first treatment. You get a lot of releases. So in a horse, when they start to release, they start to lick and they chew, and they start doing these really exaggerated yawns, and it's almost comical. I have one horse. He likes to stick his tongue at the side of his mouth, and he swings it around like he's having just a ton of fun. Yeah, it's just things like that. Yeah, and so how long it takes though for the therapy? It is instant, but depending on the injury of the horse, I mean, I've had 10 sessions to get a horse ready for a race. So sometimes I'll be doing 3 or 4 sessions a week, and that's on a horse that really they were going to have lower him in his race. And instead of lowering him, they actually put him up a level, and he won. So when you can shave off 5 seconds off the horse, it is pretty awesome.
Well, that's pretty awesome. So naturally, are you able to identify when the horse is feeling better? And you just told me by movement of the tongue or the face or whatever. Like, do you think you're equipped now to recognize when a horse is feeling well?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I probably second guessed myself in the beginning, and not everyone can have the best eye on a horse when they're in movement. I used to think that that's where I had to look and see where all the soreness was. Then as I about a year into doing the therapy, I started to realize, well, I can see where the damage is. I can see where I need to work on the horse because I also have a high-powered PEMF unit, and I use loops, and I put it over the large muscle mass in the body, and it goes 17 inches into the horse. So I can actually heal bone. I'm working on the muscle. So when the muscle's damaged, when I'm using my high-powered unit, you can see it moving. And you can even tell if it's a muscle that's right deep in there. Because if it's the muscle on top of it, you can really see it jumping around. But if it's a muscle that's a little deeper, you can just see everything kind of moving back and forth slowly. It's pretty neat to see. I love showing my clients so that they have a better understanding of the therapy as well.
Yeah, that's great stuff. And I imagine that you're going to take all that equipment with you to Barbados.
I am. I'll be flying with it. I'm sure I have a lot of carry-ons, probably more than most. So I have to, call ahead with the airplane so they understand that I will be bringing 2 carry-ons.
Now, I know you've mentioned
My clothes, I don't care about. If they get lost, my equipment's a different story.
true, true. You know, you mentioned PEMF, and can you explain to the audience what that is?
Yes, it's pulsed electromagnetic field work. So it's an energy that is put through the loop that goes into the animal. And the best way to describe the healing as it starts, it's like having a raisin and it's all shriveled up. And then I put my loops on and it's kind of like a battery charger and it pops everything right out. It makes them like a big fat juicy grape again. So what that's is doing into the cell of the animal or the human is when you get the cell energized again and full so it can start doing its job at healing. So that's why I love this, because it's all natural and it's very effective and it gets the blood running through the body, and you can see the veins pop up on the horses when you start working on them. So it
Now,
really does.
now you mentioned humans as
Go
well.
ahead.
No, it's okay. I know there's a slight second or two delay, so we're coping with that, Rochelle. Right?
Hey, we're doing great, I think. If anybody understood what we had to go through tonight, they'd give us a big pat on the back, Derek.
Hey, listen, I know you mentioned working with humans. Can you call names with human beings that you've worked with, or you can't? I'm just curious about the raisin format of the person, and when you perform your therapy, how they bounce up. That's on the humorous side, though. But you don't have to call any names.
No, it's no. I can with my venting girls. I work with them because it's a lot of wear and tear on their body too. And I've always said that if I'm treating the horse, I need to treat the rider, because when the rider's out of pain and they're riding straight, and instead of leaning to the right on the horse or putting more pressure on the right because they're sore, they're overcompensating, then the horse gets out of whack. And I used to have to say to them, okay, what's going on with your riding? So now Holly Jack Smithers, she's one of my big, she's our Canadian eventer. And also I just started working with Siobhan O'Connor in the eventing world as well. And treating both of those ladies has made a huge difference in them. It's nice to be able to, they say, if their ankles are a little off, I can do my needleless acupuncture that I do. I use that. And I also use the PEMF. And with my new blanket here from Centropics, I also have a mat. And this is the first blanket of its kind, actually, because the mat that I have here, it folds out, so it's full length for the body, and a human can lay on this and have treatment. It takes 15 minutes. If you do 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night, it's truly amazing on how they can feel. There's 5 different settings. If you have a hard time sleeping, you might want to do a relax, or maybe halfway during the day, your energy levels are going down, which I happen to use the Energizer. And I found that I was anemic this year. So I actually got off of using blood thinners and a lot of different things once I've started using the PEMF. The doctors couldn't believe my blood work when it came back on how great I was in less than a year.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful to hear. Now, will you share with us the cost, or would people have to contact you in order to find out how much one of those magical mats cost?
Well, they could email me at specialtyequinetherapy@gmail.com. I also, a lot of people do know me, and it's always been word of mouth in the horse industry. I've been on the backstretch in the kitchen, and the trainer will go, hey, so-and-so needs to see you. Call them, and they, next thing I know, I'm over there doing work across, the track. But usually email's the best, or I do have a phone number.
Now, hold on. You
Probably
may
should have
not
put
want.
that out
You probably
earlier
might
for you.
want to think twice. But
Facebook, you can reach me on Facebook. My name's Rochelle Hale. Yeah,
just,
on Facebook you can reach me as well.
that's great. Yeah, I'm glad you cleared that up. That's pretty awesome. Now, those mats, I guess, is it battery operated, or is it by plug in?
They're cordless, so it is battery operated. It has an internal battery right into the top of the headpiece, and so you just charge it up, usually only once a day. But the great thing about this blanket is the humans can use the mat, and then this is the blanket here, and we have a channel where you just slide the mat into. So this is good for both horses and humans. So like I said,
wonderful.
it's the first of its kind, and it's brand new technology, which is fantastic. And we've been doing some studies in that on humans. We've had a couple of horse studies that are coming out, I believe, in the fall.
Well, that's great.
We've been working with horses that have the wobbles and all that.
You mentioned that you work with some German doctors on this to help you qualify to what you're doing. Would you be able to share a little bit about how intense that qualifying was, and the training and so forth, in order to carry out your practice?
When I was working with the doctors from Germany, Dr. Elsa Naff, she would come down for training, and it was pretty intense 4-day training. And that was when I was working in the human market. And that's where I got a lot of my understanding of frequencies. There's sawtooth and square wave and oscillating. So in this mat here, they've used all of those frequencies so that we can have 5 different programs. So just understanding the different frequencies and what they do for the body and healing, because not everyone is going to, get better off one setting, because our bodies are so intricate. It's, there's different things for everyone. And I always say it's kind of like just going with vibes with you. But the training that I had with Elsa was, I think there's only maybe 15 of us in the class when they would come down. And it was a lot of fun. I love to learn all those wonderful things.
Now, I want to ask you about your clients, the horses. Do you are you the kind of person, the kind of therapist that do you even care if the horse is the top horse or just the horse? How do you approach the animal?
It's always about the horse. It doesn't matter if they're just a backyard barn horse or if they're a Queen's Plate winner. I have the opportunity to get my hands on both, and I'm proud when they do excel and they do something spectacular, like winning a big stake race, or if my eventers, they're now onto the Canadian Olympics. I feel like I'm part of that tribe. I've been part of that animal's journey to bring it further. And yes, I do. I get very emotional with my horses, especially in the racing world. The first year I was working with them, I walked in to go see one of my favorite horses, and the stall was empty. And I can't tell you what that did to me. I broke down in tears. I turned, I walked out of the barn and never went back again until I got the phone call to go back.
That's real special. A true horsewoman. Definitely, you care. I remember the first time when I met you, and I don't know if you remember what you said to me, but I asked you, is it more? What do you care more about, animals or human beings? You like definitely the horses.
It's definitely the horses, Derek. I love my animals. They're true, they're honest. You can't get away with it with anything. They call you out on everything. If they're mad at you, it's really quite unique. And
Yep.
yes, I do have my favorites. I do go into some barns when I just need some horse time, and I go visit my favorite horses. The trainers let me do it. I'm pretty blessed that way. I get to grab the carrots and go feed a horse and just, relax. That's my downtime.
Nice. Very nice. Now let's talk about the horse that you will be accompanying down in Barbados. Now, have you bonded with that horse? You the chosen one, and what's your thought? What kind of character does this horse have?
He's got tons of character, let me tell you, Derek. He is very special. He's a true racehorse, though, too. I've been working with him, I think, since he got here in Florida, just over 2 weeks now. And he's just a magnificent animal. He's a little bossy, but he's got a great character about him.
Oh wow. Well, I can't wait to see this horse do his thing in the Barbados Gold Cup, knowing that Rochelle had her hands on this horse and to see how this horse performed. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Ted Holder? I think how he's managed to get you to actually to come down to Barbados.
Ted and I have been working pretty good together, I think, for almost going up. This will be our 4th year working together now. And I think we have a pretty great relationship that way with the horses. And, when they need the help, he calls me in, or I go in and just to make sure everything's okay now, because I don't know how to explain it. It's just a really great working relationship. His horses are doing extremely well, and I've gotten to know them now over the past 3 years, and knowing what they need, and so I can just go in there and work on them. And so one of the things we do is it's not just always about removing the pain or the therapy that way. Sometimes I'll do a pre-race on the horse, and that way it gets all the blood flowing and the oxygen going in their system, and then that way when they get to the race, they're all ready to go. And then after the race, I'll do another treatment as well, a post-race, so that it can remove all the lactic acid out of the muscles and the bones. And then what happens is the recovering time is, you can almost get an extra race out of your horse, because the recovery time is just so much better for them. So Ted realized that, getting into starting doing the therapy. And I think when you realize that the horse is actually going to perform better, I think you want to do everything you can for them.
Oh, that's great to hear. Now, how important it is what you do to these horses, and going down to the biggest event of Barbados racing. What should we tell the horse owners and trainers that about your business and when you're there?
Well, I'd like to say that I do really great work, because I walk into the stall and I'm not on a time limit when it comes to my horses. It's truly about the animal and what they need. So if I'm in there for a half an hour or an hour or an hour and a half, I mean, that's totally up to the horse and the owner, and as long as they're happy with everything going forward. I'm sure they'll see me down there. I'm sure there's not going to be too many people doing what I'm doing down there either as well. That's one of the great things about doing what I do. It's very specialized.
Oh, that's great. But I mean, because I know you said you do sell some equipment. So again, once you're down there, you become friends with some of the people down there. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to showcase some of the tools that you have and be able to make that connection and actually equip them with the tools that they can accompany their horses when you're not there.
Absolutely. That was one of the reasons why I got the horse PEMF blanket, because I can do what I do, a couple of times a week, but in between, it's also nice for them to be able to put the blanket on and go, okay, she's not going to be here for a few days. Like right now, I'm going to be away for 2 weeks. Now, what I would be doing is I would be giving my sponsored riders in eventing, Holly, I would be giving her a blanket while I'm away. That way I know that my horses are going to be looked after. And when I come back, it's not going to be, a lot of work to make up for my time away in Barbados. So having machines to be able to sell to clients and knowing that they're going to be the best quality. I do training on everything with them as well.
Great. Now, I've heard through the grapevines that you've worked your magic on a horse that just won one of the biggest races in Barbados, a horse called So Suave. Can you relate to that and tell me a little bit about what happened there?
Jean-Marc Cozier, he brought So Suave and his other horse. They were here in quarantine. And I was talking to Ted, and we decided to do a bit of work on the horses for Jean-Marc. And it was wonderful to get to my hands on these great animals too. And it was pretty exciting to see that he won the Coolmore Stakes.
Now, I'm a little bit hesitant to bring forth that information because now, I don't want people to bombard you and kind of like exhaust you if overwork you down in Barbados. But that's pretty awesome to hear, and I'm pretty sure that you'll have your hands full pretty soon.
I think so. I know I'll be seeing a few trainers, like I said, down there as well. So my time isn't just going to be, beaches, unfortunately. It will be a lot of work, a lot of contacts that I need to get together, people I need to see. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, that's great. Now, let's talk a little bit about the other animals outside of horse racing, because I know you have a lot of equestrian friends and rodeo friends and so forth. And can you just share a little bit about those animals? I know we talked briefly about it earlier, but can you just share a little bit more about, because those animals, they perform pretty hard.
They do. I mean, I have friends who do the same type of work, and I know they go and work on bronc bulls. It's important for them too, because if you think about those big monster animals, are over 2,000 pounds of muscle. That's a lot of work. And they definitely do benefit from having the work done on their muscles. That's for sure.
I was really interested.
It's all about when you're working with rodeo.
No, go ahead.
When you're working with the rodeo bulls, or bull riders and things like that, it's all about the score on the animal as well as the rider. A lot of people don't realize that the bull actually gets a score as well on how they perform. So if I get them so that they don't have that lower back pain, well, they can certainly kick up a lot more and twist.
Oh, wow. I don't know a whole lot about rodeo. I tried watching rodeo a few times, and I couldn't figure out the scoring or any of that kind of stuff. It was a lot of fun watching. I just didn't understand the scoring and that stuff, but it's a lot of fun just to see those guys run away from the animals and to lasso and do all that stuff. It's pretty cool.
I'm pretty blessed in my family. My cousin was a timer at the rodeo, so I actually did a course to do timing as well. So it was really interesting to learn all the different rules and things like that. But another family member, he's a judge at the rodeo. So it's a lot of fun to know that you can go somewhere and you pretty much know everybody. It's like one big happy family when you're there, and it feels like another family. And actually, one of my clients, he's down here right now. He is a roper, he and his son, and he was just in the roping and won first. So I really can't wait to start working with him and the boys again, him and his two horses. So they do like head and heels. So they'll rope the horns, which is the head, and then they'll rope their two back legs for the heels, and they catch the calf that way. It's kind of pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool and also very interesting. I'm very curious to know about. I see you mentioned something about Equitalasso mud from France. Can you explain that?
So the Equitalasso mud is a beautiful mud. I've been working with it for about 3 years. I do body wraps with the mud. So a lot of people think, oh, well, mud, it's going to be like poultice, what they put on the legs, and it's really thick and quite, you have to put it on quite thick as well. Well, with the Equitalasso muds, I can put this up the horse's leg. So we go against the hair and then we go down the hair. And you don't wrap the leg or anything because you don't want to wrap that type of mud because it has the sea salts and the minerals in it. So it's very healing. But when I do a body wrap, I mean, they're wrapped from the top of the pole of the head all the way down to their toe, their tail, and all the big muscle groups. And they love it. It's almost like humans. Humans used to get the lasso wraps with the mud, and they get their whole bodies wrapped. So Benedict, she's from France. She's I'll say, I don't want to say chiropractor. Anyway, she works with horses. She has 3 training centers, and she was going in to have this lasso mud wrap. So she was sitting there thinking, well, if it feels so good for me and it takes away all the aches and the pains, this is great for my horses. So we have lots of different types of muds. We have competition. We have a heated mud. When I mix cold water with it, it heats up to 180 degrees. So it's really quite warm. I actually put it on with a spatula onto the horse's body. And I usually put that in the sacrum area. And you can just see the horse when you put it on them. It feels so good. It's probably like a heating pad for us. And then there's like draining clay, which really helps pull any kind of swollen ankles or legs. It really helps bring that all down.
Now, that sounds like a lot of research that was put into this type of therapy and type of work to make these animals perform. Um, do you see the results really soon, or how long does it take before you see real results?
I think animals are like humans too. It just depends on how long the damage has been there, on the injury. And, that could depend on how long it's going to take to heal it as well. So I can't say, there's a magic number out there or it's not a magic wand. It's real therapy, and it takes a little bit of time, and you just have to be patient sometimes. Again, if you have a really healthy horse and you put the mud on him, you definitely do see the difference in them. But I'm also doing like all the different therapies together. If they need a little acupuncture, then I'll do that. Or if I think they need a little PEMF to loosen the muscles up, I'll do that. So like I say, it's like having a bag of tricks. You open up the tickle trunk, and what am I going to use today?
Now, I know we kind of bounced around the horse that you're going to Barbados with. Actually, is it should can you actually name give us the name of that horse, or not really?
I don't think that's a problem. I think Ted would be fine with it. His name is It's a Gamble.
Okay. That's interesting.
He's quite lovely. I took a picture of him. The other day, and I said to Ted, I said, he looks like an oil painting. He's just beautiful.
Oh wow. Now that kind of sparks a whole bunch of questions now for me, because now this horse I've seen that. I know you don't like to get into these kind of topics because you're just really concerned about the animal and you're not concerned about the race. maybe I'll stay away from that. But if this horse actually wins, will we be seeing you in the winner's circle with that horse?
I think so. Maybe, yeah. I would like to be. I'd like to give that to the owners and the trainers, though. I mean, but I'd definitely be there. I'm going to be there rooting them on. I mean, there's going to be other horses there I'm going to see, and I know I'm going to be, treating them as well. So, not I don't play favoritism. Like I say, it's all about the horse. But I definitely love to be in the winner's circle there for my first year trip. That would be exciting.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. And she doesn't play. She doesn't play favorites. She's put her hands on quite a few of those horses, and and she's had her hands on the some of those horses that were shipped down to Barbados. So don't be surprised if those horses are equipped with the winning touch, and that touch coming from Rochelle Hale. Hey, listen, Rochelle, I want you to enjoy yourself down in Barbados. I know that it's your first time down there, and also you're the first female on this platform of me interviewing. I'm really grateful for that. I appreciate your time.
Thanks so much, Derek. And you know what? I'll get on to more of that girl power for you, and I'll start sending some people for you. There's some great riders out there.
Oh, please do. When
You got it.
it's just like back, right, Rochelle. It's like back in the days when the girls appear in the party, all the males appear. So if you can get some females coming on here, I'll be truly grateful.
You got it. Thanks, Derek.
Hey, thank you so much. Okay.
Sounds good. I'll see you in a bit.
All right. You take care. Hey, that was Rochelle Hale. She got a magic touch, and she's performed some magical therapy on those horses coming down to Barbados for the Barbados Gold Cup. So don't be surprised if you see some big performances from horses that you probably don't have on your radar yet. So I don't know much about these horses, so I can sit here and talk as much as I want about these animals because, to be honest, I haven't seen them run. I don't see the speed figure. I don't know their styles, the jockeys, anything. So I'm just saying, based on Rochelle's magic, don't be surprised. Okay. Hey, look, guys. I'll tell you what. Stay tuned. It's probably like an hour and a half or so. In an hour and 10 minutes. We're gonna have a special guy coming on this platform, and don't be surprised because I hear he's riding It's a Gamble. So stay tuned until hour and 10 minutes, and we'll be back. For those of you watching on the streaming podcast, we'll be right back. Okay.